Alright, so here we're going to have a review of the Penon Globe. It is a 2-balance armature, 1 dynamic driver, and it retails for $340. You can find it on Penon's website. It can come in 3.5 millimeter, 2.5, and 4.4. So if you're familiar with Penon IEMs, they almost always come in this yellow box with like red box inside. Just every Penon IEM box looks like this, but it's a nice unboxing experience actually. Slide that out. Can lift this up. Okay. You can get this case out, and then you get this little baggie that's like a smaller, I think, portable case for this, and a little bit of a cable tie underneath. Just get these out of the way here. Okay, so we can also it's just a little bag. You can put the IMs in there. It's pretty small, actually. It's a bit too small, but it's fine. Yeah, it's a nice inclusion. So then you get this bigger case, which is a good quality case, but as I always say with these big cases, this is not going to fit my pocket. I mean, this will, but this is almost no protection at all at this rate. I mean, kind of. This is better. I prefer this, actually, over this giant thing. Anyway, opening the little case, you should get this cable, some tips, which are important for this, actually. We'll talk about that in a second. Cleaning tool, and a little clip for your shirt or something. So you can clip on the IMs to your shirt. In the bag, there's like little pockets. It's a nice little case. And then we also have the IMs, of course, in these little baggies. So you can take that out. It says Globe right on it. Little bits of sparkliness on there. Just get the other one out. Now, I really don't know whose dumb idea it was to write Penon Globe on the faceplate in this color. Or in general, they really should have wrote this like on the side here or something, because it really ruins the aesthetic to me. I don't know. I mean, I'm used to it now, but I just don't like how it's written on there. Anyway, so let's talk about the build. It's a full resin shell. It looks fine. I mean, I don't like the way it's written on there, but it's fine. Got a flush 2-pin connector on there that goes to a 2-bore nozzle. I don't know if this is gonna actually focus, no matter how hard I try. So yeah, just imagine 2 holes in there. Okay. Anyway, so this is, as I said, a 1 dynamic 2BA. Oh, let's talk about the cable. Shit, almost forgot. It's actually kind of important because of how nice the cable is. It's got like some downsides, like you can see right now, it does tangle a little bit for me, but this is one of the nicer thin cables I've seen. Usually cables are either like really crappy and thin and like cheap, or really really nice but too thick for me to carry outside. It gets a little heavy. This is it's a soft cable, and it's thin. Comes into 2 hooked 2 pins. Very nice. It even has like, you know, the little extension so it can fit in some recessed port IMs. Very nice cable inclusion, but Penon always does. Penon knows how to get good cables for their IMs, and just in general, they sell cables on their own, which is probably why. Anyway, so I said these 2 tip bags are going to be important, and that's because these IEMs, the sound changes a lot with tip changes. And I didn't realize that at first. I was about to review this with just like, you know, thinking, oh yeah, you know, it's probably going to sound the same as this. You know, let me check out the stock tips. Got to check those out before you review, of course. And but I was listening to a lot on the spin fits. And trying these out, the sound completely changes. So I had to do testing again on these ones. And so we're going to talk about the sound differences between all of these. But overall, what I will say is I have 100% can recommend these. I give these like a 9 out of 10. These are amazing IMs. I am not somebody who likes to say everything is great. I'm not into that. Like, if you look at reviews on my channel, there's a lot of negative reviews. This though, this for $340, these are amazing. I love these IMs. You're going to see these a lot in comparisons with the IMs in the future that will be around the same price. I love these, and I'm going to use them a lot in my own just personal time. They're amazing. So let's talk about the sound on all these, so you can know why, I guess. I'm just gonna take the tips out so I can, you know, point and shit. Get out. Okay, so we have the orange tips and the green tips and the spin fits. Reason I just put spin fits in every single one of my reviews because I find them the most comfortable. Now let's talk about comfort first, because comfort. With the spin fits, they're the most comfortable for me. But these IEMs overall in general are very comfortable because they have an interesting shape compared to most IEMs I've seen, because like they look normal from the front, but when you see the side, they're actually just really narrow. They're narrow and long. So if we look at like a tri-meteor, okay, you see how this is like a lot fatter in the front, and on the side you see like these are thinner. So these fit my ears very well. I don't know how it fit yours, but I find this type of shape to be a lot more comfortable than the normal shape. And the Meteor is a very comfortable IM, don't get me wrong, but I find this to be one of the most comfortable IMs I have, and they're pretty big. So that's pretty impressive for 3 drivers to be one of the most comfortable IMs. I think it's very, very comfortable. Anyway, so past, fit, all that shit I just covered. Let's talk about sound with the tips, all that. So, my favorite tips, I'm going to say right now, are the green tips. Okay? And these 2 tips sound very similar, but not the same. The green tips, over these 2, they have a wider stage. Your head will be here, and the stage will be, I can't actually even, like, it's that big, I can't really show it. It's going to be, like, here. It's got a really wide stage for the size of the IMs. I really enjoy the staging with these tips. Now, the reason I say with these tips is because with these 2 tips, it doesn't go narrow, but it shrinks a lot. The stage is much smaller. You will go from here to here, like half the stage almost. So you lose a lot of staging going from this tip to these 2. These 2 have approximately the same stage, maybe a little bit bigger on the orange, but not by a lot. And the reason is I think the back, as you can see, like the bore size is different. I thought a bigger bore would make a bigger soundstage, but not with these. I don't know. What I'm experiencing when I'm listening is that these green tips, they just have a bigger stage. I forgot to mention which one of these is more comfortable. They look the same, but I find the green ones to be much more comfortable than the orange ones. I don't know what it is. I think that this is a little bit harder to squeeze than these are. So, yeah. I know, I'm all over the place in this review. I'm excited, okay? I love these things. These are really good. These are amazing IEMs. Let's talk about these 2 now. With the smaller stage, though, you do get more intimacy in vocals, and you get more intimacy with the bass. The bass is a lot bigger on these 2. And actually, I think they have more texture in the bass with these 2 tips, especially on these. You got good texture in the bass, but you also got very, very heavy note weight. The notes and the sounds are very thick. They're not like bloated necessarily, but they're just bigger. Now with the orange tips, you get a bigger stage, and you also get, I feel it's more precise, it's more detailed, and you get better imaging in the stage than these 2. These have good imaging too, but I think the imaging's better with the green tips. Now, if you want more intimacy in the overall sound, not just vocals, everything, you would go with these tips. But if you want a bigger stage, you'll go with these. And you want less bass, you go with these. These are bassy in general. I find these to have a pretty well extended, but also a little bit emphasized bass. And if you like that, it's great. I think it's very well done. I don't think it's like a bloated or bass, like overly bassy, but it's got bass for sure. It's no Rinko, but it has very thumpy bass, very good punch to it. Going into the mid-range on both of these, the mid-range is not too forward. It's around here in the stage on these, and then like here on the stage on these. It's got good presence. I would prefer it to be a little bit closer on both of these, but it's very good still. Okay, instrument separation is great. Instruments are actually really well done on all of these tips for me. I do prefer it on these because I like the way it like presents itself in the giant stage. But on these, it's also quite nice because you do have that thumpier bass. I feel like you do get more detail out of the green tips. I don't know. It just, even though these get closer to the ears, you'd imagine that have more detail that you can perceive. This sounds more detailed to me, more precise. The notes are not as heavy. They're more lightweight, but they still have weight to them. It's just lighter sounding. It sounds more open, more airy, you know. I found that the genres for these can handle almost any genre. I think that it probably does rap. Actually does rap really well too. I can't really think of a genre that these can't do. Maybe it's not the best for classical, but even then it does well. I found to really enjoy rock on these things, because with rock, I personally like because these have, I forgot to mention, this is like, man, I'm all over the place. These have a slightly rolled off treble. Slightly. Ever so slightly. Not crazy. But it's a very comfortable sound. The sound is comfortable for me in every song. On these, it gets a little bit, the treble gets a little bit more extended than these. But I do use these too. I use these tips also sometimes. Now I use both of them. With this one, the highs are pretty heavily rolled off. It's a much darker sound. And I like that for rock because I can find that the treble gets a little bit piercing on a lot of IEMs for rock. And for that, I like these tips. But also it can handle these without going sibling as well. So it really is up to you. I don't think these are good for treble heads. I don't think that if you really want to hear the most sparkly treble in the world, you should get these. These will not give you that. But these have a well-extended treble. You're not going to miss out on anything. Now, for detail overall, with all the tips, I don't find it to be the most detailed thing you can find. It's well detailed. It's got detail that you'd want. You're not going to feel like you're getting cheated out of detail. But it's not extremely detailed. So if you really want like the most detail, I don't think these are the IEMs for you. This IEM, I think the best part of it is the tonality. It has excellent timbre. Timbre almost like a single dynamic. The way that the drivers are crossed over is really natural. You don't feel like you're listening to a hybrid. I don't know like if you know what I'm talking about, but you sometimes hear, a lot of BA timbre in a hybrid IEM. These don't have that. These have a really excellent timbre in the highs and the mids, which are both done by BAs. And I'm very picky to BA timbre, and I can't really tell. You could tell me this is a single DD set, and I'd believe you. I'd be pretty close to believing you, at least. So, overall, I know this review was a bit of a mess. I was all over the place. I hope that the information was still, recallable, and you could still understand what I'm saying with all this stuff all over. But, overall, amazing IEMs, great comfort, great sound. The tips give you a good variety for you to choose from. Just 2 tips, but you should also try Smiths, trust. Overall, you can get a lot of different sound. I think this is better than having tuning switches. I think that they're very comfortable. They're well built. They're good looking, except for the whole Penon Globe writing on it. That's really annoying. Overall, great IEMs. I highly recommend them. And I hope this helped somebody out. See ya.